Alright, this is storytime animation, not the animations that like the odd ones out or whatever do. Like they animate it with a story from a kid, young adult, or something. And the one that we're looking at is fine. They do it okay. They might not be 100% real, but at least they're relatable.
Here we go. Not funny.
Before we talk about the next storytime animators, is I'm here to introduce one of my friends who's starting a YouTube channel and hasn't really posted yet, and he wants some internet clout before he starts. This is Tryhard Gaming. Say hello.
Hi. Okay then, so pretty much all this YouTube channel is clickbait, lies, and just overreacting pretty much. So yeah, and there was one video where oh my god, it is better if we just show you. So yeah, this is a thumbs down for all of us.
Hello, I'm Bruce. Right now I'm 21 years old, and
So when I was watching this the first time, I thought his name was Mike. Nothing to do with the story, I just wanted to say it because I think it's funny.
I'm happy. But just a few years ago, I was broke, alone, and homeless. And all of it.
I just noticed that they always play the victim card, and it's just a chance to overreact. Like,
Was because of my mother. Since I could remember, my mom didn't really care about me.
So, Tryhard Gaming has sadly departed, so we got a new person who's had a YouTube channel and posted. His name is Real Krusty Krab, and he wants some internet clout as well. So say hello.
hello?
We always had some food at home, but that was it. She never talked to me or asked me any questions unless she needed something. She would also berate me if I broke something or talked too loudly. Once she was supposed to pick me up from school in the middle of the winter, but she forgot, and I had to walk all the way home because I had no money.
Right, so if this story is true, this is on the mother's fault and the school, because he had to have been waiting around the school for his parents to pick him up, or at least somewhere where someone could see him. And his parents just didn't care about him, and the school could have easily called his parents, which is honestly really stupid.
I was wet and cold and got sick for several weeks. And she did buy me medicine, but then forced me to go to school because it was too big of a hassle for her if I stayed at home. It was confusing and painful to me when I was a kid, but I had gotten used to it by the time I got older.
You say that you've gotten used to it when you got older, but shortly he says that he starts crying, which doesn't make sense at all.
When I became a teenager, I was rarely at home. I was always hanging out with my friends, sometimes for the whole night because, well, nobody cared if I was at home or not. So I could do whatever I wanted as long as I didn't create any problems for my mom. I was bad at school, but I was doing barely enough so that my teachers wouldn't call her.
A D- was being my school call my parents.
I wasn't hanging out outside all the time because I wanted to. Pretty often, it was because I didn't feel like I had a home. My mom always had men in her life, and they would come and go every few years. So it felt like I was just the tenant in a house of two strangers. With my stepfathers, it was like they were literally strangers, but with my mom, just felt like it. Well, I was at least thankful to them for not messing with me and for leaving me alone. But this all changed when I was 17.
Here's the climax that they always put in somewhat in the middle of the video. Yes! Here's the climax. I hope you guys enjoy. Haha. Totally not fake. LOL. And a oop.
And she started to date an ex-military man. And boy, was he strict. He had all these rules, like specific times I had to come home and that I suddenly had chores to do at home. He was constantly telling me how he would make a man out of me and how spoiled I was. I hated him.
Of course you're spoiled because you know, like, your parents, and you know, like, parents mean spoiled. That's like every generic thing. If a rich, famous girl is like, I don't like you, family, anymore, then they're a brat. They're greedy. They're not good. And honestly, you're acting like that.
And I ignored his rules. One day, I came home pretty late, and he was waiting for me, red with anger.
Has a right to be mad. You came home late. It's not like, you were probably staying out till 8 o'clock, past your bedtime, and they were getting worried about you. Yeah, no, he was just mad at you. Now that's called discipline.
I didn't even get why. I mean, it wasn't even his house. Anyway, he started to lecture me on how I should obey his rules because he was the man of the house. He was so loud, my mother woke up. I rolled my eyes until he warned me that I would have to leave this house as soon.
Isn't it weird how when the father figure or whatever kicks the kid, it's just a running animation?
As I turned 18, I couldn't believe it. I looked at my mother waiting for some kind of support, but she just went back to her room without saying anything. He got so angry at me that he made me run laps in the middle of the night around our house, shouting at me at the same time. Mom came out again, but all she did was ask us to be quieter because she wanted to sleep. Good thing that it was raining, because nobody could see my tears. The next few months...
Even if it wasn't raining, it was late, you say. So, of course, no one's gonna be able to see your quote-unquote tears.
I was afraid of both being in the house and being out of it. It was just constant anxiety and anger. I finally turned 18 and was waiting every day to be kicked out. But my stepfather was feeling generous. Or to be more precise, my mother asked him to be a little softer. So the new
To be happy that he's being quote-unquote generous.
deal was that if I wanted to stay longer, I had to pay for my room. I agreed, because this was the only place I could afford right now.
My God, he's paying rent. Oh, wow. Maybe he should have been, planning for this before and not wasting his money on 20 bottles of soda every day. Maybe that's something.
Any other room I tried to find would cost more. It was really hard to find a job. I worked at a fast food joint for a while, but I was so miserable with my situation at home that it was hard to talk with.
Yes, bad parenting can cause anxiety or whatever, but that doesn't mean that you can't find a better job. You could maybe ask to, instead of taking orders, cook. There's many ways that you could improve from your situation, but you're just trying to stick with where you are. And even if this story is real, that it's most likely fake, you could do a bunch of stuff. You could report child abuse because your father is abusing you in many ways according to you. So, yeah.
People. So eventually I started a job at a factory. It had terrible pay and a terrible schedule, but I had no choice. So I continued to work there.
And even if this story is real, it's most likely fake. You say that there's nothing that you can do. There's something called quitting and getting a better job. You're not, once you work there, you're not stuck there for the rest of your life. You could quit. That's a certain thing. You don't stay, you can quit. And it makes no sense that the guy's saying this because he's apparently 21. So, you'd think he would put some common sense in there as well, but nope. There was nothing I could do.
It was better than being at home. Every night I returned from my work, my stepfather would continue to annoy me with his rules, and my mother would agree with him about how stupid and useless I was, only taking up space. I hated them with a passion. and would have cried myself to sleep every night, except I was too tired to feel anything.
Hey, you guys remember that time at in the beginning he said that he grew and got used to it when he got older? Well, now he's saying that he's crying, so
One day, I forgot my keys at home, and after I returned home from a 12-hour shift, I called my mother to open the door for me, but she said she was out and that I had to wait. I was waiting on our front porch for a few hours and eventually fell asleep, exhausted from work. I was woken up by them returning and being angry at me for sleeping on the front porch like I was homeless. They were miserable together and decided to get a dog because, they needed someone to care about. How ironic that they treated this poor small dog better than me. And by better, I mean that they screamed at it a little less often than they did at me.
well, you're what, 18 years old? You should already be moving out and maybe taking things with a pinch of salt and starting a new life by yourself.
So anyway, one night when I was trying to fall asleep, my stepfather opened the door and was shouting at me for leaving dirty dishes in the sink. I ignored him until he left to walk with the dog. And that's when I decided that enough was enough. And I went to the kitchen and I smashed all those dirty plates that I couldn't clean because I was exhausted from work. My mom came out to see what was happening and started berating and screaming at me, but I ignored her. I packed all my stuff, took my bag, and left the house without saying goodbye.
So, in the beginning of the video, he was playing the victim card, saying that it's all because of his mother's fault that he's messed up or whatever, but it's not his mom's fault, it's her boyfriend's fault, and what you just did is honestly, really, I can't. That's annoying. Whoever does that to their parents and expects them to not be mean to them is honestly stupid.
I stayed in a dirty, loud hostel for a few days, and it was even worse. I'd come from a loud factory to a loud hostel and was just constantly tired. But it was better than living with my mother and her boyfriend.
Why do they use the okay sign for something that's actually pretty tragic? That's leading something called, maybe it's fake. I mean, I didn't say it. It was the video. They said that it was okay. So, yeah, I didn't say it. It was a video. So maybe it was okay for him, but he's saying that it was terrible. So the video, this leads to my conclusion, saying that the video is fake.
After a while, I rented myself a room and immediately felt better. It was quiet and nobody would barge in the middle of the night. Work still sucked, but I didn't care. I devoted all my free time studying how to code. I knew I couldn't apply to a university in my current situation, and programming is well paid, so it was the best choice I could make. My life gradually got better. After a year of living like that, changing jobs, and spending all my free time learning to code, I finally got a better job and found a great girlfriend, Eve, who made me incredibly happy. Eventually, we rented a small apartment together. It was all great.
You would possibly think that the video would end by now, but apparently we have another climax. Yay. It's like an M. You guys know that weird little chart that English teachers use to explain the story? It's going up, the peak is the climax, then it goes down, he's finally resting, then it goes up again, another climax, then it goes down. That's an M. Yeah, that's not really good, homie.
Until my mother reappeared in my life. She called me one day, almost crying. Just hearing her voice made me sweat and tremble with anxiety. The army man had left her and she was all alone and lonely and had financial problems. I was hesitant about whether I wanted to be in contact with her again, but Eve thought that it might be a good idea. Maybe she had changed. So Eve and I went together to meet my mother. She looked bad, like 10 years older. It was almost uncomfortable how she was hugging me and acting like she missed me. She had never done that in my entire life. I was silently sitting the whole evening while my mother was chatting with Eve, telling her funny stories from my childhood. They weren't funny to me. I felt physically sick being in this house. I also wondered where the dog was. Did the army man take it or something worse? Anyway, I felt sorry for it. But then I thought, maybe she really did change. Maybe being completely alone showed her how wrong she was. So I decided to give her a chance. I would talk with her on the phone once a week and would visit her once a month, and even started to help her with money for a little bit. And she did act like she was grateful. Once I went to see her alone, and she started to say insulting things about Eve, how she wasn't good enough for me, and that she was just using me, and that I should break up with her. And get this, my mother wanted me to move back in with her. I was surprised by this, because usually she was always very friendly to Eve. When I tried to defend Eve, my mother called me ungrateful, and said that she didn't even want me to be born. It was incredibly painful to realize that she hadn't changed at all, and that I had just spent so much energy on her out of guilt and the belief that she wasn't a narcissistic, toxic person who neglected me my whole life. So I told my mom.
Alright, so I've been part of a toxic friendship, but that's a story time for another day. If you guys would like it, just tell me in the comments or whatever, but this is not the right way to treat it. Just leave. You don't call your mother bad stuff, which he will start doing soon. It's honestly just amazing how he treats his mother and then portrays her as the bad guy. Yes, she may be mean, but you're 21 years old and expecting her to be nice to her old baby who has helped her through quote unquote tough times, and then insulting your girlfriend, that's what you're gonna do? Insult her back? That's honestly a trashy move from you and your mother.
Everything I thought about her. I was speaking loudly for about a half an hour, and then I was getting my things together, preparing to leave. At that moment, my mom ran to me and pretended to fall. She was laying on the floor and crying about everyone abandoning her. She looked like a little baby, but I felt absolutely nothing. After some time, she stood up and tried to hug me, but I stepped back. At this point, I left without showing any emotion or saying a word. I imagined how she would continue to sit all alone in this room, knowing that it was her fault, but never being a person who was big enough to say that she was sorry or just accept that it was her fault. I went back home to Eve, a person who loved me, and burst into tears, something I'd never done.
Man, my guy be saying that he's never broken into tears, even though when he's 18 or whatever, good thing it was raining because nobody could see my tears. Bruh.
In my entire life, I opened up to her, something I also never really did in detail. And I just told her everything for hours while she sat there and supported me. The next day, she took me out for an amazing day. We went to the movies, looked at ducks in the park, saw our friends, and then she did something unexpected in the evening. She got on her knee and proposed to me. It was so weird, and I didn't understand what was happening because, the guy is supposed to do that. But she didn't care because she thought it was wonderful how amazing I had turned out, despite my terrible upbringing. And she simply couldn't wait. It felt nice. And I said yes. I cut off all contact with my mother, and I haven't talked to her or visited her since. I don't think she deserves my love or attention after all she put me through. But I'm really, truly happy now. My life is not perfect, but I'm surrounded by Eve and my friends. People who really love me. Share in the comments if you have a similar experience to mine. I would like to see your opinions. Should I still keep in contact with my mother? Or did I do the right thing?
The video ends on the weirdest note. So he finally kicks his mother out of his life or whatever. And his girlfriend proposes, and well, you see, here's the thing. It just ends right there, which is the weirdest ending of all. I have no hate towards the people that voice these. I'm just trying to prove my point of why I hate these animation people. Yeah. Though I never said this, I want to do a quick analysis on this specific video. So, roll the gameplay. Alright. So, time to talk about this trashy, disgusting story channel. I am going to call it by its name. Actually happened, so I don't have to keep on calling it story thing. So, actually happened has been posting this nonsense since the very beginning of I think like 2017, which is honestly really dumb because, they've been receiving hate since the longest of time and they have yet changed their disgusting attitude and have not been able to people just dislike this channel, and I'm one of them. Like, I don't understand how people could find this channel entertaining when it's overreaction to the max. In the beginning, Tryhard Gaming said that we were gonna tell you about a video, but might as well show you, and we chose a different video because the video that they were showing was a disgusting video of where someone would poison a friend of theirs every day. And why, of course, it would be like a small amount, but like, where would they get that amount of poison? They overreacted a lot, and it was most likely fake. They probably got it from the dark web if it was true. Just like J Station got his multiple potions, which were fake, like always. Haha, that's very funny. And no, I will not be doing a video on J Station. I'm just pointing that out. But personally, I think that these people should not be allowed on this tremendous platform that it's already trash. I don't know why I'm doing it. I'm just doing it. I'm just doing YouTube for old time's sake and for my entertainment and for your guys' entertainment. Even though I don't have a large amount of subscribers at the time of recording, I hopefully will grow and I will remember all of you guys as OGs, and anytime you guys could write down in the comments and I will 100% respond. I'm not gonna try to ignore feedback, because if I don't have feedback, my channel won't grow, and I want to grow my channel. So these people should not deserve the millions of bots. I mean, not bots, but they probably do use bots. The millions of people that have subscribed, they might have accidentally subscribed and thought it was, someone else's channel, such as Story Booth. They do good content. Now, they're not the greatest, but they're realistic. I said in the beginning that they're not 100% true, but at least they're relatable. They're not 100% relatable, but they're realistic. They're not, my friend tried to poison me and I almost died. Realistic. No, like, I was embarrassed at a school party. Realistic. They're not telling crazy stories that should be like police reported, but apparently they're not. But like, that's what I don't like about this channel. If you guys personally enjoy this channel, then be my guest, enjoy them. And well, many people do say that this channel is good. I've done an interview from one of my friends, and 1 out of 10 said that it was a good channel. So I mean, if that's the ratio, then they shouldn't really be getting this much liking. Like, the videos are honestly really funny, but not all of them are funny. Like this video, it's honestly very depressing. This video is most likely fake again. Who would ever lie about that? Honestly, if you're that dumb to blame it on your mother, he says in the beginning of the video, and it's all because of my mother. It wasn't because of your mother. It was because of your mother's love interest. Okay? Your dad, stepdad. And never once in this video does he actually mention his father. I don't want to get into this guy's personal issues if this is true, but he should have at least said something with his dad to make it at least a little bit more interesting or realistic, as some people would say. But this guy is just complaining about his father, his stepdad, not being nice to him. And grow up. You're a 21-year-old in your video, and you're honestly crying about this, and it's getting really annoying. You shouldn't be crying over this. You should at least be doing something. And many people get affected by this. Many people. And if you're getting affected, ask for help. There's at least someone else there who's been affected by someone. Ask for help. If you're getting mentally abused or physically abused by one of your parents, or even a bully, tell someone. Ask someone for help. There's no point for you to keep it a secret. This guy kept it a secret until he was 21 years old. Well, probably not, because it's most likely fake. That's another problem that I have with this channel. Why would you fake something so depressing? And if this video is true and they somehow changed up their perspective on things, and instead of faking videos, because there's literal proof on them faking videos, and they changed it, then good for them. But if they haven't changed, then what's the point in spreading rumors about your family, which could put them in jail? There's no point for you to do this. And it's honestly mean for the people that actually have to go through this. It's honestly depressing. Now, I've never gone through it because I'm lucky enough to have a good family. But for anyone who's going through this, I feel bad for them. And then this guy's making a mockery out of them. If it's not true, then don't say it. If you don't have anything nice to say, like my parents/teachers and whatever, if you don't have anything nice to say, then just keep it to yourself. There's no point for this guy to be going on a rant about his family. Now, what if his family was actually mean? Well, he could have done tons of things, but multiple times he's contradicting what he says. He says later into the video that he is, he's grown into not crying or whatever, but later on into the video, he says, oh, well, good thing it was raining because nobody could see my tears. And honestly, it's very sad. It's depressing that he has to contradict his own sayings to make people feel bad about him. I just don't like this channel. If you guys appreciate this channel, you guys could go tell me down in the comments, but this channel is honestly disgusting. Alright guys, see you later. Peace. I don't know what gameplay to use, so I'm gonna use Mario Kart. anyone who has assisted me during this video, they will be listed down in the description with a link. Go subscribe to them and subscribe to me. Alright, anyway, see you guys later. Bye-bye.